Hello guys, so welcome back to my channel and welcome back to a new video. So today we're going to talk a little bit about Paris, and we're just going to be discussing whether or not Paris is over-romanticized in the media and all over social media basically. Lately I've been just really conscious of what am I creating, and I'm just like asking myself whether or not I am contributing to people thinking that life in Paris is perfect. So if you don't know anything about me, my name is Nora. I'm from Hungary and I basically moved to Paris 3 years ago. I've been living in Paris for 3 years now. I originally moved here to start university here. Yeah, so basically we're just gonna talk a little bit about like this whole facade that Paris has and that was created for Paris through social media basically. Also, if you're new on this channel, I would really appreciate it if you subscribe and like this video. If you feel like doing that, it's totally up to you. I make a lot of content about my life in Paris as an expat and also about studying in Paris for potential students wanting to move here to study. So before we get into this video, I just quickly want to thank Vincent Serrano-Guerrera for sponsoring today's video. So Vincent is the author of the book Kill the French, Learning French Has Never Been Easier. His book actually includes 100 short stories that were written in French for people who are interested in learning the language. 70% of this book is written in transparent words. So if you don't know what transparent words are, basically the English and the French language are really similar and they have a lot of words in common. This stems from history and a bunch of other things, but basically Vincent used this to his advantage to create this book for you guys. It is basically a new revolutionary approach to learning French, because basically if you can speak English, you will instantly understand 70% of this book, which is really amazing because I think it really encourages you to commit yourself to learning French. Because I think when we are learning a language and we're learning it and it's been months and years and we don't really see any progress, I think it can be really discouraging if you want to learn French in an unconventional way, or if you're interested in learning French but you haven't really committed yourself to it just yet. I'd really recommend checking this book out, as reading French stories that you can already understand is just a much more fun way of learning a language than getting a boring grammar book out and starting it by yourself. It just instantly gives you like a feeling of gratification when you are reading it and you don't really even speak French, but you can just understand the phrases. Also, in general, if you're interested in French culture and history and art, I'd really recommend checking this book out because it just gives you a lot of insight to the culture itself. So if you don't even want to learn French, but if you're just really interested in France and its history and culture, I really recommend checking this book out. So thank you so much again to Vincent for sponsoring this video. I'm going to put all the links in the description for his book if you guys want to check it out. And without any further ado, let's get into the video. So I wanted to talk a little bit about like how like living in Paris and like Paris is kind of like over-romanticized over social media. And I asked Savannah, who I always have really deep conversations with, to kind of like share her opinion on this.
I think it's a super interesting topic, and like I've done content creation the last few years and like a lot more Instagram content, and so I've seen a lot on social media the sort of niche and content of like the romanticized version of Paris. And it's interesting to talk about kind of the negative and the positive side of it after having lived in Paris and then also created like Parisian content and then also experienced the reality, because I think that like anything, the most important part's that you use it with intention. And so with something like content creation, you're obviously creating a story, like it's not your real life, but you can use it to sort of reflect on your life and like choose what story you tell.
I think with YouTube that's just my personal opinion, but I think with YouTube it's maybe easier to connect with people who live in Paris. I think with YouTube like people talk in their videos for like 15 or 10 minutes. But for example, with Instagram or TikTok, I think it's easy to like fall into this trap of thinking that life in Paris is perfect because you only see a picture.
Yeah, that someone's like created.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the sort of danger with those social platforms in general, is that it becomes just this one static image of reality. And I think as content creators, it's always so important to like share and remind people that like it's just content. It's just like a form of expression, like photography or like any kind of form of creative expression. And what's nice about a platform like YouTube is that you see the reality of all of it.
You're also from the US, so I kind of just wanted to, you grew up in the US,
right?
In
Arizona.
So I kind of just wanted to like hear your opinion, because I'm from Europe. I never really had like a romanticized like vision of Paris. Of course, like we have like some like image of it in our heads, but I don't think that it's as romanticized maybe as in the US. I don't know if you agree.
The city that I can compare Paris to most is actually Los Angeles. I think that they're both cities that have this sort of facade or like false image to them as well as the reality. Maybe just from my perspective in Arizona, but like LA or Southern California was always this place that like was really romanticized, that like you saw beautiful pictures of, that like there was this dream reality,
Hollywood,
and then there was like the real reality of like I went to LA to model, and like I remember looking for an apartment and like seeing the kind of reality of like what the city was. And I think Paris is a bit like that too. Like there's this image of it. It kind of comes from like them being such like rich like creative places as well. It sort of creates this image of what people think it's like or what they want it to be like. The reality in the end is like it's your reality. Like people keep asking me if I prefer Paris or Barcelona, because I'm about to go back and I can never choose. I'm meeting inspiring people and I'm finding inspiration in like both cities. Obviously the architecture is different, the weather's different.
Like you're the same.
But yeah, the stereotype isn't different because I'm not just seeing like one perspective of the city. I'm seeking out different perspectives and like going different places, meeting different types of people.
The thing I was thinking about lately is like how like different it is, like when you're just seeing Paris through like social media from someone else's perspective, and when you really go out and like come here on yourself and explore it. So what's the image of Paris now that you've been here for half a year now? Like how would you describe it to someone who wants to come here?
I think it's like a city with so many layers to it. It takes so much time. You get to know a place the way that you would get to know a person. It starts off slowly, and so obviously you get to know their first image or you get to know what they look like, and then slowly you start to discover like the kind of crevices and the side streets and the different neighborhoods. And Paris is complicated. Like I still feel like I don't understand it, but I kind of love that. Like I feel so much more intrigued by mystery than by understanding. So I love that. Like it still feels like there's so much mystery to discover, but that I've just scratched the surface. And that for me that means having favorite cafes where like I know the owners and
like more personal.
And like and I know that they've put something creative into what they're doing, or watching the weather change, watching the seasons change. I love that. Do
you ever watch like creators who live in Paris and share there, or do you follow Instagram accounts?
I don't. Honestly, like not that much. I really like the Purple Palace. She makes videos in French as well, so that's how I found her, because I was learning French. Through using a platform like YouTube, it's apparent a lot more than Instagram that it's just really, it's not about being in the perfect place at the perfect time. It's really about appreciating your circumstances.
Do you ever do like a social media detox or?
Yes, I'm about to go to like a silent retreat for a few days, so I'm super excited. I just always try to use it when I have like the right energy to put into it, and like if I'm tired, that is not the time I go on social media. Like that's the time that like I exercise or I go walking or I do something that kinesthetic that like connects me to my body or to my environment, or like writing by hand. And I use social media when I'm like really balanced and like ready to be inspired, and when I can use it without intention, I find it like a place of like so much inspiration and like so much possibility. Do
you have like an advice for people who are maybe watching a lot of like Life in Paris vlogs and are interested in coming here, like do you have like an advice for them or something you would like to share, because now you've been here for half a year and you're leaving, so
it's what we talked about a little bit in our video about university, that in that it's really distinguishing between what's like a passing whim and what's a deep desire for you. And if it's more like a passing whim, it's not really going to satisfy you. But if you really have like a lingering feeling or like a deep curiosity to go somewhere, I think you should always go. And like I fell in love with Paris, and I believe that you do fall in love with places and that they sort of call to you, and when you feel like intrigued by a place or drawn to a place, it's because there's something to be learned there. So if you're drawn to somewhere like that, something unexpected is gonna happen, and I mean that's the beauty of it.
So that's like a good advice if you ever want to come to Paris or ever want to move anywhere else, to just let go of your expectations. Like come here as if you knew nothing about the city, just see what comes.
Yeah, completely. And like accepting it for what it is, that like Paris is expensive and like it's difficult to find housing and like it's very crowded, it can be very abrasive sometimes, but like if you love the city, those things aren't limitations.
Thank you so much for sharing your opinion.
For sure.
And for being on my channel. And I'm gonna miss you! Aww, I'm gonna stop. Can you tell us what's happening?
We are in the cafe and it's...
We're in the cafe!
No, we are not in the cafe. We are outside.
There is no cafe!
There is no cafe. We are here in the phone. No one is entering. And why it looks like that? Like, can you show?
Because I think because it's just the kitchen.
Yes, but that's weird.
Our food.
I'm hungry.
Aww.
Like, I thought it would be nice.
The slow day, the calm, and the night will unfold. I never thought that I
Brushing the hair, I have a technique. If you want to do curls, you have to take your like brush and go like that. And ooh, you have
on every occasion I whisper your name.
Okay. And
I'm happy to hear that you'll still be around. I thought you were leaving without a sound. In my little world, you are both pros and cons. It's hard to admit when you feel.
After our struggles of finding like a wild in the moon that's actually open. We found
one next to
Opera.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we're here. We are going to.
What did you get?
I get a granola bowl. Wait,
It's a granola.
yeah.
It doesn't, not an acai bowl.
They have granola and this ice. So it's ice granola. This is coffee sugar shake. And this is a rose latte. I don't know if you can see it. I'm not for YouTube.
Not for YouTube.
Bye.
And I got a banh mi. It's like a Vietnamese sandwich type of thing with like gluten-free bread. And I got a chickpea salad.
And she got a tiramisu.
A vegan tiramisu.
Yeah.
So let's begin. Bon appetit.
On va couper la longueur comme ça. Ça vous va?
Oui, c'est combien de centimètres? 7. Peut-être, oui. Oui, comme ça peut-être. Oui, oui, d'accord. just finished at the hairdresser. I went to the same hairdresser that I did the last time, and I absolutely love my hair. Maybe I will take my mask off. I haven't seen myself without my mask yet, but it's really nice. I like it. When she was cutting my bangs, I was kind of freaking out because I thought that it was like kind of short, but it's really light, that I don't think that it bothers me that it's shorter than it usually is. I'm gonna put her contacts in the description box below if you live in Paris and you're looking for a hairdresser, and especially if you're interested in like Korean hairstyles, because this place is specialized in Korean hairstyles. So I have a class after this, so I'm going to head back to university now. I haven't had lunch yet and it's already 4 p.m. so I think I'm gonna get something to eat and talk to you guys later. Bye for now.